So it's after the holidays. That means my phone's ringing a lot with new people, and they kind of want to know what their PSAT scores mean. What happens is you guys get them, then you forget about them in the holidays. Now you're wondering, what do these do? How do they work? And are they important? I'm going to give you two reasons they're not important, and a big reason at the end why they are important. Now, the first reason they're not important is they don't really count for college admissions, not in any meaningful way. The colleges buy big files of data from the College Board. You ever wonder why the PSAT is free? PSAT is free because colleges are buying the data from the College Board for marketing purposes. Remember, colleges are big businesses, and they use that PSAT data, scores, self-reported GPA, demographics, blah, 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 to target you with slick emails and marketing brochures. Colleges do not, and I repeat, do not use these numbers in admissions decisions. It is 0.0% of your college admissions package. Now, you might see some scholarship stuff from colleges in these marketing materials. We'll get back to that in a minute. But our second reason is scholarships. It is feasible for you to get a scholarship based on your PSAT score, but that's not all you have to do to get that. And in saying that it's about scholarships is really misleading. It's like when Miss America, the pageant, says that they're the largest provider of scholarships to women in the United States. If you squint hard enough and you say, under these conditions enough times, almost anything can be true. You might get emails from colleges that sound kind of like you did get something. They say, you got a $15,000 ride right here, baby. Well, that's not a real scholarship. It's an introductory offer. Let me analogize. So let's go say I buy a truck. And for most vehicles, they set the price, the sticker, above what they want. That's what the dealer puts it above what they want. So let's say the thing is 25 grand. They want 25 grand. They're going to price it at 30. They're expecting that on average, if they sell enough of these models, it'll average out to 25,000. Well, they didn't give me $5,000 off anything if I buy it for 25. They're trying to induce in me an irrational motivation to buy the car. I worked hard to negotiate down to 25 grand. They're giving me this money. And I see families making that decision all the time between a more expensive school and a less expensive school that they find equal in value. They'll pick the more expensive one because there's a quote unquote scholarship on the board. It's not free money. It's not real money. It's just like if my car salesman came out and said, hey, buddy, it's Labor Day weekend. We got a great scholarship on brand new Hondas. Now, there are scholarships here. The PSAT NMSQT, that's the one sophomores and juniors take, is the NMSQT is National Merit Scholarship Qualifying Test. Not many of you guys get that. Let me explain. 1.6 million of you guys take this test a year, give or take. About 1%, about 16,000 people get National Merit semifinalists. So you don't get any money for that. But of the people that are National Merit semifinalists, about 15,000 go on to become finalists, and about half of those people get money. It's about 8,000. To become a finalist from semifinalists, you got to fill out an application that includes like an essay and like a bunch of stuff from council. Basically, it's a college application. You also have to send them a confirming SAT score, so you got to take the real SAT. So it's like a college application. And then once you do that, 15,000 to 16,000 become National Merit finalists, and about half of those get money. Some of that, about 4,000-ish, the numbers get a little bit wobbly here, comes from the College Board itself in the form of a $2,500 not a reward for sticking up with it. Not much. The other 4-ish thousand comes from colleges and corporate sponsors. Corporate sponsors, like let's say your dad or mom works for GE or Boeing or a big company, there might be designated awards for the children of employees of that company. So you don't qualify for those if your dad's a schmuck like the test guy. Sorry, Samantha. That's my kid. You can get awards from colleges, but not necessarily colleges you want to go to. And the awards you get from colleges are usually not anything special compared to what they would have already given you for doing all the things you had to do to get national merit. And that brings me to the last point. Call it reason 2A that these don't matter. They're not really an admissions feather in the cap, because if It's nice, I think, at moderately selective to somewhat highly selective schools. I do think it helps. I think it helps anywhere. It's better to have it than not. But if you think about it, let's say you're looking at Harvard. Your Harvard application should show that you're good at essays, you're good at getting good grades, you have at least a couple teachers that are fond of you, and a guidance counselor that doesn't hate you, and a good SAT score. What of that is substantively different than the National Merit application? Almost nothing. Nothing. The only difference is that Harvard's application is more robust. It's more well-rounded. So you're telling a college that you're applying to that you're got an award for being good at essentially applying to college. You're not saying anything new or anything terribly relevant. Again, I think it's better to have it than not have it. Could it be a difference maker at the very high end? We're talking the institutions with digits, or excuse me, single digit admission rate, low double digits, maybe. It's impossible to tell with those institutions what'll tip the scale, but I don't think it's the best thing in the world, and it doesn't seem like a great return. So that's kind of the way that the College Board gets away with selling your information is they give out enough money to make it look better. Now, here's why I care. I think these are really important for a couple of reasons. The chief one is this is a real test under real conditions, and assuming you tried hard, which not everybody does, and you had a relatively okay testing situation, which, who knows what your testing situation was like, it's pretty reflective of where you are at that point in time in October. Remember, tests are always snapshots in time of how you performed on one morning, on one day, in 1 month. One of the things about the PSAT is it's kind of a lag between administration giving the test in October and getting the results in mid-December. So you might be out of date, but you're probably only out of date if you've done a couple of things. One, you've been assiduously prepping with class or a tutor or Khan Academy or books or something. But I mean, like actually working, not just like, I've looked at this book before. And you've been in a class that should help your skill levels. So like Algebra 2, college algebra, something along those lines. Or maybe you have an English teacher that actually figures it's about damn time you guys learn how to use a semicolon, which I wish there were more of that fictional English teacher. Then you might be farther along. But you're not likely to improve natively if you don't do anything beyond where you were this fall. And it's important because you might be pretty far off of where you want to be. And even if you're not, you don't know how long it's going to take to get to where you want to be. Let's use Michigan as an example. I have a lot of people there, and I use Michigan because I know it well. And also their flagship state university, University of Michigan, is hard to get into in-state, harder out-of-state. Let's say you come in at 1100-ish on your PSAT. I'd want you at about a 1400 for that Michigan app. Now, higher is better. I feel okay, depending on what part of Michigan you're at with about a 1400. A higher would be great. That's still that's like a couple standard deviations almost. That's 300 points. That's a lot of ground. And a fair number of people can do that. They have the ability to do that, but it almost always takes a fair amount of time and a couple of tests to get that score. And so you don't want to kick this can down the road because you don't want to back yourself into a situation where you're in October, November of next year and you have a do or die exam. That is not a condition to take a test well in. You want to have cushion and know there's another one down the road and treat each test like it's practice. Even if you're close to your score, you never know when you're going to stall out. I had a student that I talked to today, former student. He's at Duke now. And he told me that 30 is his least favorite number because he got 30 on the ACT 2 or 3 times. And that you see people plateau for a bit before they have a big breakout, and you don't know when that's going to happen. But more than anything else, high school doesn't get less busy. And there's a lot on the plate for college admissions. You got the testing. You got to also, go to school and take art classes, all that stuff. Extracurriculars, volunteering, sports, job maybe. And then with the applications, you've got letters of recommendation. You have essays for most of you guys, and sometimes a lot of essays, 30. And maybe other random requirements like a work product requirement or a portfolio or whatever. Your job in the next year, juniors, is to take things off the table as quickly effectively as you can, have a good job done, and put it behind you. Because when people start on this late, this happens every year, I have people come late. So they get through, they survive, but it's they're miserable for several months, and a lot of times I don't think the results are as nearly as good as they could have been otherwise. So whether you're 100 points away or 300 points away or more away, start now. Take this away. Take this stress out of your life. Don't wait until April or May to get. I hope this was helpful. Thanks so much. My New Year's resolutions is to say like and subscribe or whatever I'm supposed to say depending on where you're watching this. So do that, please. As always, I answer questions for free. So please reach out to me through my website and have a great day.